Hi, folks. Today's episode brought to you by our favorite sponsor. There you go. SunsetLakeSebede.com, but they're having a special sale. Why? Because our friends at Sunset Lake know it's not easy to feel thankful necessarily these days. So they wanted to extend their thanks to this show, to you, our amazing listeners and watchers, and a special shout out to Brian for all of the lifted tea love. Brian single-handedly up their volume by 700%.
I swapped out my Natty Light problem with my lifted tea, but the aluminum industry is still happy.
Holidays are coming, which means less daylight, colder temperatures, and a little extra stress on top of an already nutty year. Of course, you're also headed home for Thanksgiving, maybe. As we wind down 2025, you deserve to rest and recharge. And thankfully, our friends at SunsetLakeSebede.com have just the thing. It's their Black Friday sale. Right now, you can save 30%, 30, when you head to SunsetLakeSebede.com and use the code Friday25. Friday25. That's the word Friday. That's the numbers 2 and 5. No spaces. They got everything you need to chill out and catch your breath this holiday season. Tinctures that help you sleep. Gummies that help you sleep. Tinctures that help your dogs calm down. Gummies, not for your dogs, but they have gummies with a little bit of THC, a little bit of Delta-9. They also got some with melatonin, some without melatonin, some to let you chill, some to let you sleep. They've got all sorts of, they got smokables, keef, flowers, pre-rolls. I love their Sebede fudge, although I can't get near it too much because I have a problem with sweets. But also the Sebede coffee. It's a great weekend roast. These are all great gifts for you and for the ones you love. All of their Sebede grown without pesticides. All of their Sebede grown using regenerative farming practices, so they take care of the soil. They have great business practices, mostly employee-owned, $20 minimum wage when they do the harvest, and they are movement partners. They have donated tens of thousands of dollars to things that you care about: strike relief funds, carceral reform, refugee resettlement, Planned Parenthood, give directly, on and on and on. SunsetLakeSebede.com. In fact, right now, these guys just gave $5,000 to the Vermont Food Bank as a way of trying to help with all that's going on with SNAP and whatnot. Just an all-around great company, all-around great product. And if your order total is over $125, they're going to give you a free citrus-flavored 750 milligram Sebede tincture. Head over to SunsetLakeSebede.com. Use the code Friday25 to save 30% on all their wellness products for people and pets. The sale ends December 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. See their site for full terms and conditions. Remember, great gifts. All right, now time for the show.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
If I get the feeling you've been cheated.
It is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, House expected to vote overwhelmingly to release the Epstein files after Donald Trump decides to give up the ghost in the house, as it were. Meanwhile, Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, guy who chops up other human beings or orders them to be chopped up, will be feted in D.C. in town to bribe Trump. As Trump promises to sell them a bunch of F-35s. UN Security Council passes the U.S. plan for Gaza peace force with seemingly zero input from Palestinians throughout the entire process or plan. Disgraced Larry Summers, even more disgraced now, to step back in wake of the Epstein revelations. But the real question is, why doesn't he quit all these things instead of trying to let a little air out of the tire to step back? Oh, I know why. It's because he just wanted to let a little air out of the tire.
Yeah.
ICE moving from Charlotte, North Carolina to Durham and to New Orleans. New poll, Republicans are cratering with Latinos. Democratic Socialist Katie Wilson wins in Seattle.
Huge.
They finally counted the votes. She's Seattle's new mayor. The second acting FEMA director gone in just 10 months of the Trump administration. This is the one who didn't know that it was hurricane season.
No, didn't know there was a hurricane.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Just joking about that. I
Sorry.
totally know it.
Classic,
It's
didn't
the
know there was
season
a
with the hurricanes.
Yeah. Democrats lead a discharge petition to restore collective bargaining for most federal employees. Chiasi announces run against Hakeem Jeffries, but New York progressive electeds are hands off. Lastly, NIH cuts have left almost 75,000 patients completely abandoned. All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday.
Newsday.
Tuesday.
It can go either way.
Yeah, I mean,
It goes both ways.
Somebody's a little rusty. Trump's friend Bubba
You
says,
messed it up.
No, I didn't. I said it was Tuesday, and you could say Newsday Tuesday.
Okay, all right. Just sort of move on.
Trump's friend Bubba says, been a member since the Majority Report when Sam got COVID. When are you all going to work on winning that 6th award? We're not eligible for any more of those awards.
Right.
Because when you win 5 it's called the People's Choice Podcast Awards. We won 5 like in the first, 6-7 years it existed. So what they did is because we kept winning, they basically said, you're not eligible anymore, but we're going to name the award after you. So if you go to I think it's podcastawards.com, you will see that all the nominees, I don't know where they are in the voting cycle, they're competing for the Majority Report News and Politics Award.
Right.
It's like a slaughter rule in Little League.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep, there you go.
All right.
Al Conniption says ICE is also in San Antonio. We will get to all of that.
Jesus.
But let's deal with this before we get into some of the specific stuff I want to deal with. The Mama Fistopheles says, are you all going to talk about Bubba Gate today?
I talked about that with Francesca Fiorentini on her show. I just don't think Trump is capable of
Tell
giving.
people what it is.
There is an email, I guess, that was a part of the emails that were released by the House that includes an insinuation that Trump was...
Well, it says Trump blew Bubba.
And Bubba is a nickname for Bill Clinton.
Okay. And it is not, but
it's
Mark Epstein already came out and said
Yes.
it's not. Here's my theory.
Yeah.
It's a euphemism.
Right.
And I saw a thread where somebody suggested there's a picture of Donald Trump with two younger women on his lap, and he's pointing to a stain in his pants. Now, supposedly this picture exists. I don't know. And that blowing blue bubba is a euphemism for having
a male orgasm.
A stain?
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
Everyone is so classy here.
And
but I just knew that couldn't be the case because Trump probably has never given head in his life to anybody. Anybody.
Right.
He doesn't exert physical energy on the golf course because he's worried that, I mean, can you imagine if his jaw had to deal with that? Like his battery life for his life would go all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unlikely. I think it's more likely a euphemism in that way. But with all that said,
touch my hair.
I think. Oh, God.
I was as restrained as I possibly could be through that.
Hands off the merchandise.
With all that said, I think it's important that the speculation continues.
I agree.
So please, people should be speculating as much as possible about that until we have Donald Trump address it. I think he should come out and address it.
Make him deny it.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get in to what's happening today. Faced with the prospect of a discharge petition forcing this bill to the floor, and the idea that at least those Republicans that defected to sign the discharge petition were going to vote for the legislation, and perhaps even more, because nobody wanted to be up there voting against the release of the Epstein files. Donald Trump shifts strategies, calls for everyone to vote in favor of releasing the files. And here is Mike Johnson with perhaps a clue as to what this new strategy is. Now it's not prevented from passing in the House. Now it's Mike Johnson.
So what am I to do as a leader in a situation like this? I call my counterpart in the Senate, Leader Thune, and I talked him through this with him and shared our deep concerns. And of course, they share those concerns as well. And so I'm very confident that when this moves forward in the process, if and when it is processed in the Senate, which there's no certainty that that will be, that they will take the time methodically to do what we have not been allowed to do in the House, to amend this discharge petition and to make sure that these protections are there. The authors of the discharge did not allow us to do that here. That's the rules here. But in the Senate, they can correct it.
Okay, so what he's outlining here is one of Mike Johnson's lies about this legislation was that it did not protect the victims, Epstein's victims. In fact, Epstein's victims, all of the ones who have spoken publicly, are in support of this bill, the specific one in the discharge petition. Johnson's new strategy, and I imagine this was done in consultation with the White House, is to say, okay, the real problem we had with this, it doesn't offer the protections we want it to. We're going to send it over to the Senate, and if it gets a hearing in the Senate, which it sounds like their plan is that it will, they will write another bill, right? Because they're going to amend this. Now, once they pass a different bill, then it's got to go back to the House for another vote. And so the idea is we're kicking the can down the road. And I suspect there's also ways in which the House doesn't necessarily have to take up the bill immediately. And then you're back at square one again because the Speaker of the House would schedule this bill. So, and it's perhaps they can do it. They can maybe just punt until the next government shutdown. Remember, January 31st is the date of the end of the continuing resolution, which passed the other day. Greg Abbott has scheduled the election for the special election for a Democratic congressman who has been, that seat has been unfilled for over, I think, like 365 days, no, since March. So it will have been 350 days or something like that, 320 days. That election's scheduled to happen January 31st. The government shutdown, we may go through this again.
Wow.
And so who knows? This is all, how do we kick the can down the road?
And Trump coming out and basically saying, I support the release of these files is also a way to kind of create oxygen for that to happen, right? Because he looked incredibly weak in this past week or so, or a few weeks, in a way that I don't necessarily know if he has so far, in the fact that, like, the White House was whipping votes against, when they knew basically that they had enough signatures for the discharge petition. They were
called
whipping
Boebert to the Situation Room.
Yeah, they were, and that failed. But now it's even more of a failure, and they can't hide from it here because there's apparently going to be dozens, if not hundreds, of Republicans who sign on for the release of these files because they're thinking about what comes next, in the way Marjorie Taylor Greene has been thinking about what comes next after Donald Trump. The reality is that he has a -18 approval rating. I doubt it's going to get better. He may be in lame duck territory already, and it's not even the first year. The first year of his second term isn't even over. And so they're like, do I want, as Thomas Massie said, my name on a vote to protect pedophiles for my future political career? And the White House could not use the Trump cult to whip votes against that future. And I think that tension with Trump is something that I hope it continues to cause the party to spiral.
Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene out at a press conference that Massey and Ro Khanna had, I believe, with standing behind her are some of the Epstein victims who have come out publicly. And here is more evidence of at least some people are finding that or have decided that they're going forward outside of the Trump halo, as it were.
And that's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today.
Wow.
I was called a traitor.
I'm sorry, can you just pause it really quickly? I just have to remark, because this is what she's been doing, and I just can't. It's shocking how smart this is from female Dog the Bounty Hunter. The fact that that she is positioning herself as the outsider here is exactly what Trump did in the lead up to 2016. Right. I am standing up to the most powerful people in the world. In 2016, in that race, Trump was saying, I'm the guy that's been in the room with Hillary Clinton's donors, and I know how she gets bought. And she's doing a version of this, so
yeah,
sorry.
Soon she's just moments away from saying drain the swamp.
Yep.
Happened today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement.
Hold on, I just want to highlight too. She gave her loyalty for free, and
6 years is about as much loyalty as I want from any single woman.
Yes. You've sort of aged out. I'm sorry.
That's what he meant when he said that her green grass turned brown.
Yes.
Brown rotting grass.
To the golf course
fruit.
with you.
Yeah. Sorry. You aged out. Go back a little bit.
And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge
I would like
petition.
to know, wait, what policies? Was it the immigration policies? I just think people should be explicit so that people understand. She clearly supports a lot of Trump's policies. I'm curious what those are.
Yeah, it seems like I wonder if Steve Bannon's in her ear. That's my other theory about this, is like where with all of the the bombings in Venezuela and the threatening of wars and things like that, if like she's trying to take up the true America First mantle. Another theory I have bandying about in my head.
To take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the fight, the real fight, will happen after that.
I mean,
she's insinuating there too that the cover-up of this is on Israel's behalf as well, with the foreign country thing, right?
I thought that.
I don't know if she's it's saying that it's necessarily about Israel, but she's saying that he is.
I think she's including Argentina, all that stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. I think there's a broader, and I think the idea about being this sort of general is also on purpose. Again, what are those policies that she supports of Donald Trump's? Best not to actually say.
I'm sure she'd agree that ICE is America first.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot more to cover, particularly ICE and what they've been up to in Charlotte. The folks in Charlotte have really, they have organized very quickly. Like there is a sense that Chicago learned from LA and that Charlotte is learning from Chicago and so on. Now, I know there's ICE in other places, but I'm talking about the earth surges. I'm talking about where Bovino goes. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. I got a couple of words from our sponsors. And I will read those now. Just a reminder, when you become a member of the Majority Report, you get the free show, free of commercials. So have at it. First sponsor today. If you're dealing with hair issues like thinning or shedding, but feeling totally stuck on what to try next, I definitely get it. There's a ton of products out there. You don't know which ones are actually going to do anything. Maybe you don't want to take some thing that's been formulated with drugs. That's a big reason why I was willing to give Nutrafol a try. It's not just hype. It's physician formulated. It is clinically tested, even recommended by dermatologists. I've told the story a million times, but we had a couple of bottles in here from years ago when they wanted to sponsor the program. Michael wasn't interested in trying it. Okay. I thought, I don't need it. And so that was that. But a couple years later, I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to thin a little bit up top. And I don't have too many things going for me except for, being my age and having, a full head of hair. And I figured I'll give it a try because why not?
Why not?
It was, they clinically test the final formulations, not just like ingredient studies. They use a variety of hair measurement counts or tools, I guess, like hair counts, pull tests, which assess the growing and the shedding and the quality and texture of your hair. I've had great results with it. I see a lot less shedding when I come out of the shower and I'm drying my hair. That's basically my clinical test, is to look at my towel and say like, oh, I have a problem, or oh, I don't have a problem. And I've seen a big difference. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is simple. It is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. Of course, one of them is me. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified. That's the gold standard and third-party certification of supplements. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol for a limited time. Nutrafol offering you $10 off your first month's subscription, free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code TMR10. That is TMR10. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code TMR10. Nutrafol.com, promo code TMR10. Also, sponsoring the program today, it can be tough to find time to make meals. I know this. Plus, you fall, days get shorter, it's darker quicker, you get hungry sooner.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the reasons why I love Factor. There's multiple reasons why I love Factor. One is it's super easy. And it literally, I didn't understand why people had microwaves before.
I know. I've said this before.
I know I've said this before, but
I'm with you on that.
For 56 years, for my entire life as an adult living alone, I never had a microwave.
Me too.
Never had a microwave. I was just like, why would you do that?
It's like a Massachusetts thing.
I've never lived in Massachusetts.
Never.
Well, I mean,
It's a New England thing. There may be a New England thing. Well, first off,
Maine, whatever.
First off, when I was a kid and we had microwaves, they were so newfangled, everybody was afraid of them. And
everybody?
Well,
I was afraid, and they were not newfangled.
Okay, well, see, there you go. It's a New England thing. But I will say this. I understand why I microwave now, because I can make, that's the beauty. I'm not really making it. But I can prepare for Saul.
Yes.
I'm not really preparing it. But for Saul and myself, great home-cooked meal, tasting meals in about 3 minutes. I've made for Saul chicken and mashed potatoes and with garlic beans. There was a chicken with cilantro. We had some shrimp fajitas. There's all sorts of different things. Salmon, all different stuff. It has widened his palate, and it's super easy, and it makes me feel like I'm not just ordering food in for him because I'm a bad parent, which is not that I'm not judging anybody. That's what I do all the time, but this is so easy. You get an order. So I want to thank Factor, a HelloFresh company, for supporting the Majority Report. Go to factormeals.com/majority50off and use the code majority50off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for a year. They have more variety, more meals. Do you like salmon, filet mignon, or shrimp? They have those and more. Do these words make your mouth water? Fajitas, chimichurri. Oh, yeah, the chimichurri. That's really good. Or truffles. Are you ready to savor these? Tex-Mex, Scampi, or Creole? I can't read these at this time of the day. Choose from a wide selection of meal options at no extra cost. And you can support your wellness goals. Even enjoy even more GLP-friendly meals with their new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference no matter what your routine. Folks, you can make great tasting meals without having to do really any work. They deliver it to you. You can get I think up to 4 or 5 meals, 4 or 5 days. I mean, I get 6 at a time, so I get 3 meals for Saul and I. Eat smart at factormeals.com/majority50off and use the code majority50off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for a year. That's code majority50 off at factormeals.com. 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. And lastly, show is sponsored by Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It is what saved me the day after Zoran won.
Mm-hmm.
I went out last night and had a couple of drinks. I got invited to like a little
cocktail thing. You were
Yes.
saying, yeah.
Honestly, it's the most social I've been in ages. It's just like I've
You're
been
a
to
little
like
socialite now.
I've been to like 3 functions in the past 6 weeks. This is the most social I've been to, and I'm really getting to the swing of things.
Nice.
And but I drink a Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink beforehand, and next day I don't feel a thing. I'm feeling good. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is the buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's the blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme which breaks this byproduct down. All you got to do, make the pre-alcohol Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. You drink responsibly. You'll feel your best tomorrow. And that tomorrow is today for me, and I do. Look at it. Look at how much look how much energy I have.
Yeah.
Make the most of every toast, tailgate, and touchdown this holiday season. Just don't forget to bring the pre-alcohol along for the ride. Go to zbiotics.com/majority to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use majority at checkout. Z-Biotics backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/majority. Use the code majority at checkout for 15% off. We will put this in a we'll put this in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. Check it out. Honestly, with that Z-Biotics, the toughest part is just all you gotta do is remember to make that your first drink.
Exactly.
And then you are all set. All right, let's get into. I want to talk about this poll first that just came out. Here is Harry Epstein. What is his name?
Harry Emden.
Harry Emden.
I honestly don't remember his real name anymore.
It's actually Harry Enton.
Enton,
Yeah, Harry
Enton, but God, in our hearts, he's Harry Emden.
Watch Harry Emden.
Donald Trump is at his lowest approval rating, basically amongst everybody, right?
Yeah.
And as well it should be. But he particularly overperformed with a couple of different cohorts in the 2024 election. Mm-hmm. Latinos was one of them. So much so that Texas Republicans got very confident in their redistricting.
Yep.
Their gerrymandering that they did very recently. Again, I don't want to get too remedial here, but if you have 3 districts and 2 of them are Republican and they are, let's say, just for the sake of argument, plus 10 Republican districts. In other words, that a generic Republican is going to outpoll a generic Democrat by 10 points. And then you have one district that's plus 5 Democrat. What the Republicans will do is they'll take 3 points from one Republican and 3 points from the other Republican, or I'm sorry, 5 from each, and they'll put it into that district and they'll make all 3 plus 5 Republican districts. So I'm taking 5 from one that has 10, 5 from the other has 10, putting it into the Democratic one that is essentially minus 5, and now they're all 3 plus 5 Republicans. But what happens if things turn so quickly that those plus 10s that you were counting on were actually plus 6s, let's say? And then all of a sudden, the Latino vote that you counted on for that plus, extra 4 or 5 points in those districts completely turns on you. Well, we may find out. Here is Harry Enton.
The Latino vote, what are we seeing among the polls there?
Yeah, what are we seeing? One of the big shifts in 2024 from 2020 was that shift towards Donald Trump, right? Immigration played a key role in that. I want to start off with Latinos on Trump and immigration. Back a year ago, what did we see on the issue of immigration? Latino voters trusted Kamala Harris more than Donald Trump, but by just 2 points. 1, 2. Look now at Donald Trump's net approval rating on immigration among Latinos. He is 38 points underwater. That is a 36-point shift, essentially, from where we were a year ago on immigration. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are basically tied on the issue of immigration. And now on the issue of immigration, Latinos despise, hate Donald Trump. 38 points underwater. In their mind, he is doing something absolutely wrong when it comes to immigration.
What about the Latino vote overall?
What about the Latino vote overall? All right, how do Latinos feel about Donald Trump overall? Let's take a look here. This, I think, sort of gives the game away.
Goodness.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I mean, that is the phrase of the day. Trump's net approval rating among Latinos. In early February, again, he was just 2 points underwater. Look at where he is now. Late October, minus 34 points, 34 points underwater, a shift of 32 points over the course of this year. I should point out this is the CBS News YouGov poll, but I was looking at the averager polls. I was looking at our own poll. Very similar shift, 20, 25, 30-point shifts on the net approval rating away from Donald Trump among Latinos overall. Again, whatever Donald Trump is doing in office, in the minds of Latinos, it is not working. They have turned against him in massive, massive numbers.
That's stunning.
Yeah, and I'm also reading here, Strength in Numbers is a great Substack people can read. This was from last week, but it was about the Vanishing Trump coalition. You're seeing now that there's a pronounced shift of non-white, lower income and younger voters back to the Democrats at above average rates, where we saw that was also significant for Trump in the last race. GOP's vote margin fell by over 40 points among Asian American voters, 20 points among Hispanic Latino voters, and 22 points among 18 to 29-year-olds, which is literally the exact coalition that the Republicans were trying to juice with their podcast bro thing. And then, of course, even in taking those numbers and redistricting around them. And the numbers are staggering in New Jersey. Like Union City, I've cited this before, just because I'm familiar with it also from growing up around there. It's a heavily Latino city, over 80%. And it swung by over 50 points from where Kamala Harris performed to where Mikey Sherrill did in that race. Now, again, like general election numbers, we always talk about this. It's a very different story when Trump is at the top of the ticket, but presumably he won't be again. We should probably note that, unless, obviously something horrible happens. And these Republicans, why this Epstein fissure is so important, is they're thinking about that race in 2028. And when, say, he's not at the top of the ticket, how are the Republicans going to perform if he can't do his celebrity thing and drive out those low propensity voters like this? So it's, and also like the denial of the economic reality people are experiencing is just like absolutely toxic and totally self-inflicted by Trump himself with the tariffs and everything.
I would also say, though, where you see the Republicans cleaving from Trump, it is all around this Epstein stuff. And it all is all very personal. And so what they're doing is they're trying to maintain the policy set and the issue set.
Yeah.
Nobody's breaking apart from Trump on the tariffs. Nobody, the only thing is this sort of like vague America First slogan. They're saying that he deviated from his own policy. So they're staying true to all that thing. So this is an important thing to, going forward, which is why it's so important. How Democrats win and how they govern is going to be so as relevant as to whether Donald Trump is, walking amongst us or, a distant memory or whatever. But what's going on in places like Chicago and LA, and now in Charlotte, North Carolina, and of course, other cities. But Charlotte seems to be where the surge is, as it were. This is where Bovino, who was, I think he was with Customs and Border Patrol, and I think now he's
came
moved
out of
over
El
to
Centro.
ICE.
El
And-
Centro.
But let's do number 16. This gives you a sense of sort of like how under siege, no, number 16, how under siege people are feeling in Charlotte. Just literally days after ICE has sort of like, I guess they call it a surge there, which incidentally is the exact same verbiage they used when they talked about putting in new troops in Iraq.
They called it Charlotte's Web because, you know, they
Operation Charlotte's Web.
Because of Charlotte. Is that the first thing that came to mind?
Yeah,
or
but I was noting to
thing?
Sam, who's the main character in Charlotte's Web? It's a pig.
That's apt.
But here is this is a guy who owns a bakery talking to, I believe, a reporter from the Charlotte Observer.
And I'm getting ready to close my bakery today, man. The amount of fear that we have right now is not good. It's not worth it to take that risk. We need to protect our families and family separation, man. This easy, they have taken maybe around 20 people today around in Charlotte. And they have been in a parking lot several times today, so.
Does it affect your business?
Of course, you know, and I'm gonna close the doors. I don't know when I'm gonna open back. Thank you to all the community and to all the people that have supported me, that has come. But I need to protect my customers. I need to protect my immigrant community and even myself, because they are not even approaching people to us. They are just jumping on them and throwing them to the floor. That's what I saw this morning. So it's not they're lying, man. They're not chasing criminals. They're chasing anyone who speaks like me and has an accent like me and looks like me.
Are you opening tomorrow?
No.
Is that normal or is that abnormal?
I'm normal. I never close, man. Never.
So you are closing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm closing tomorrow. I think it could be the first time in 28 years that I'm going to be closing the doors of my bakery.
Okay.
But thank you for being here, brother.
When are you reopening?
I don't know. When we start the division, when we start the race profiles, and we stop these races.
And we're going to show you plenty of clips of the racial profiling that's taking place. Like literally, we have multiple clips of these ICE thugs going up to people who look Mexican to them, or look brown, or look Central American, or look South American.
Sanctioned by our Supreme Court.
Are, maybe they're doing a job like they're working on somebody's yard, or maybe they're working on somebody's roof, or maybe they're waiting for a bus. We've got clips of all this. And the interesting thing here is, and again, I know ICE is in many cities. I mean, I've heard of plenty of stories of them being upstate, as well as sometimes into the outer boroughs. But this is one where they have actually put like a surge of ICE officers in. And this is a city that is probably like a quarter or less of the size of Chicago. Certainly, like, I don't know, an eighth of the size of LA. I mean, in terms of landmass, I would maybe even say probably much smaller.
Yeah, it's just under 1 million population, 900 and something thousand.
And so you got 900 some odd thousand people, and this is going on in the community. It has been fascinating to watch, like how quickly this stuff is getting disseminated. But here is number 15. This is a perfect example of them just literally driving around neighborhoods in Charlotte, apparently, and just stopping when they see someone with a brown complexion working on a house. They just literally stop in this neighborhood and listen to what they ask.
Louisiana? All right, badass. You remember which hospital?
Lakeside or Lakeview, it's over there.
Wait, start at the beginning.
Cool. I appreciate you.
Start all the way at the beginning.
Louisiana? All right, badass. You remember which hospital?
Lakeside or Lakeview, it's over there in
Okay, cool. I appreciate you chatting with me, man. I'm just
it's all
just out here to talk to
you
folks.
gotta do a job, so you gotta do a job too.
No, I got you. How about you, sir, in the hat? What's your name?
Caleb Hunt. I was born in St. Charles Hospital, Luland.
Okay. All right. And you, ma'am?
My name is Pamela Gabriel.
Huh?
Pamela Gabriel.
Okay. Where were you born at?
Ecuador.
Ecuador?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a passport and visa?
Yes, sir.
Would you mind if I take a look at it?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, awesome. And you, sir?
Okay, so there they are. Now, I will say this. If those people are working on your house, you have every right to go tell those ICE agents to get the F off your property.
Yep.
Almost an obligation.
If they're asking questions as to where people were born or what their name is, then they don't have enough information definitionally to justify entering your private property.
100%.
And also based upon what I've watched, of what folks are telling folks who are immigrants, nobody on that roof has an obligation to answer a single one of those questions. You want to know what high school I went to? It was FU High. It was Suck It Right Here High.
Right.
It's actually a vocational tech school, but yeah.
Or just say
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you could just say
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. So that was my junior
Yeah.
high. My senior. I mean, you have... Now, I can understand why people... I'm also, you don't want to hassle. You're just doing your job. And you don't want to hassle if you don't... but understand that you don't have to do that. You don't have to answer any of those questions. And if they're acting friendly with you, I have news for you. They're not. They're not your friend. They're not anybody's friends. They should have no friends, actually. They should be completely socially isolated. They should be pariahs. In whatever community they are from, they should be pariahs.
Show me your papers. I mean, when people want to talk about, are we being hyperbolic by calling them a version of the Gestapo, I don't understand where the hyperbole lies there.
Here is, speaking of pariahs and people who honestly, if we get to a day when this ends, I hope this guy literally has to leave the country. I hope he self-deports. What number is this? 12. Yeah, okay. So here's Greg Bovino, the leader of the ICE, this sort of titular head.
Celebrity Nazi.
Yeah, he's the celebrity Nazi of the moment.
Sort of the lockjaw if you saw one battle after another.
Yeah, and forced to also, I think, be more public because they've had to put, that Mastiff Bulldog, what's his name? Tom Holman, in a closet because of the scandal.
But Bovino was sort of getting out there because he was the first, I think, CPB, Customs Border Patrol, to get moved into ICE. He was one of the first leaders. And of course, he doesn't wear a mask because he's had to go to court so many times for lying to judges that it would be useless for him to wear a mask at this point. People would know him. And so here's this aging guy who clearly couldn't get to those paintball parks enough and to feel like he was a real man. And it just didn't hit in the same way. So he had to put his outfit on and get into his fatigues, his green fatigues, so he could blend in downtown Charlotte, which of course is famously, different hues of green. It makes it much harder for...
it's very similar vegetation to Hanoi.
Exactly. And so here is Bovino just walking around deciding, I'm going to go harass the next brown person I see.
Speak English? Não demasiado, señor Eduardo.
No tiene que contestar.
She's telling him that you don't have to answer anything. And Bovino's just waiting. The best thing for this guy to do in this instance is to say nothing. Because if Bovino says, if the guy speaks Spanish, it becomes some measure of probable cause for him. If the guy says anything, it becomes some measure of probable cause. You just look at him and you just...
It's interesting. Bovino, inspired by autobiographies of former agents, joined Border Patrol in 1996. That was when Bill Clinton was running hard on the border, trying to take the wind out of the Republican sails. And all that investment hired people like Bovino. And when we continue to throw money at the sort of militarization of that and at ICE, it is just growing pigs like Bovino.
Yep.
It's a farm for pigs like Bovino. And we need to defund them to stop, growing them.
Let's go to number 17. This is an example again. Now, remember, ICE has these huge bonuses to hire people, and they are taking and they are not giving them the training that people have had in the past. They are not vetting them nearly as much as they used to in the past. And they're just giving these people gear, sending them out there into minivans, and they have no idea what they're doing. Here is a ICE officer who can't handle being videotaped, and it is perfectly legal for people to be videotaping them. Again, you can't obstruct. But if you are out of their way and you're videotaping them or you're behind them, you literally can't obstruct from behind.
What if they're camera shy?
Even if they're camera shy, it's part of the job. So you're representing the completely decked out Buffy uniform. So here is this patriot.
This is an illegal traffic stop. No, this is I can stay here. I have the right to record. I have the right to record. I have the right to record. This is not legal traffic stop.
Look at they're all pointing their guns right in their face.
Illegal traffic stop. Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm backed up. I'm backed up.
They're pointing guns. Look at these Nazis. Here is an example of...
And real quick, those weapons are like called less than lethal weapons. Remember, they used to be called non-lethal, but when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004 and they were doing crowd control, one of those non-lethal weapons killed somebody. And then now they're changed to less than lethal.
And they're a lot less than lethal when they're like a foot and a half from your face.
Yeah, and it at the very least it can really harm people physically, no matter what, even if like the worst case scenario doesn't happen there.
Here is an absolute patriot. This is number 14. This is not safe for work, and God bless this guy. Well, actually, you know what? Let's go to, before we go to that, I'll give you a chance to hold your kids' ears. Here is a report from Jacob Sobroff in Charlotte, North Carolina. And just to give you a sense of like how quickly this community is banding together and to protect their fellow citizens in some instances, their fellow community members in other instances, their family, their friends.
But check this out. Hey, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have to talk very quietly because I'm in a church, but check this out. this is not a church service. This is a training being run by Siembra, North Carolina. It's called Safe to Work, Safe to School. All those people are here because they do not want Donald Trump's masked armed federal agents on the streets of Charlotte. They watched what happened in LA, they watched what happened in Chicago, and they're all here to be trained about how to get their neighbors and their friends and their coworkers safely to work and safely to school to push back on the Trump administration on what they are doing. It's a Monday night. We are at the Dilworth United Methodist Church in Charlotte, and the turnout is incredible. I'm going to show you again.
There was at least one reported raid of a church that happened the other day. They took one guy. You could see, I know there's video going around the aftermath. You can see some kids crying. I mean, just, they're absolute animals. And supposedly the word is that they're going to up their raids on churches as we get closer to the holidays. It's
Party of Christ.
It's psychopathic. It's psychopathic. And, you know, the only upshot is that it's not going unnoticed. You have folks like in that church who are organizing. You got folks organizing all around, I think, in different cities as they're anticipating ICE coming there. And, you know, you see it in the public polling. So,
And community is just such a threat to what this administration is trying to do. I've made this point before, but it's the same reason that they're obsessed with cities too, is that there's just a general kind of community there, especially one that's multicultural, that's very threatening to their project. But as we've spoken about, like, people have written in saying, what can we do? How can we resist? And getting involved locally is like a really productive way to do that. And you can see that right there.
Todd from Raleigh says, ICE arrived here this morning. We're nervous and ready to stand by for our comrades in our community. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I want to show this is 3 days ago now. Nations Ford, that must be a road in Charlotte maybe. And look at this Patriot. Again, not safe for work. You know, I think everybody can choose their own language when they confront a nice person. You know, if my son was talking like this, I would tell him to be a little bit more polite.
Yeah.
Not so much polite.
The form is good, it's just the content, you know.
Yes.
I mean, it's a little funny when the kid says it, but, you know, we'll let it go.
Well, this is not a kid, but
Yeah.
I don't think. This guy drove by some ICE guys, and the ICE guys were like, move along. And he said, I don't think so.
What you doing, bro?
Keep it moving. What do you think I'm doing?
Why?
Keep it moving.
Why you getting the people, huh? Why you getting the people?
Why am I getting them?
Yeah.
They're here illegally.
But who fucking builds the fucking places that we live in, huh?
Moving.
Or
Stop
what?
blocking the road.
What you gonna do about it? Huh?
Want to find out?
Do it, nigga. Come on. Come on, let's do it. I don't got papers. What's up?
You're telling me you're not going to move.
What you
If
gonna?
we need to leave, you're going to continue to block the roadway. Is that what you're
You're
saying?
not leaving right now. What's up? What you gonna do about it?
Well, when I do,
I don't got
leave,
papers, buddy.
Make sure you don't block the road, all right?
We'll see if this truck goes on top of you. What's up? What's up?
So what are you saying?
I don't know. You take it however you want to take it.
That's exactly how it sounds.
Take it. What you gonna do about it? Huh? You think I'm scared of you?
Keep it moving.
Or what? There's a lot more of us coming right now.
Good.
Yeah, we'll see what we're about to do right now.
Charlotte about to find out, right?
You about to find out about Charlotte. You don't know what's up about Charlotte. This ain't Chicago, nigga.
Keep it moving.
Or what? What you gonna do about it?
We're gonna find out.
Come on, find out. I wanna find out, buddy. What's up? Huh? What's up? What you gonna do about it? Hey, I'm talking to you. Come on. So what's up? What's going on?
He's fake looking around.
I know. Trying to act busy. Oh, let's look at my.
Let me
let's look
adjust
at the
my rear view
iPad.
mirror.
Hey, you want to check my plates? I don't got papers.
There you go. Good for that guy.
You love anybody who can create an awkward situation and sit in it like that.
Oh my God, I love that.
I got social anxiety from that interaction.
That is my new adopted son. This is freaking fantastic. All of your interactions, if you engage in that way, are not going to work out that way necessarily. You got to be prepared to deal with what comes after that. But if you get on video, you will be in line to be one of my adopted children. That is
yeah.
So awesome. I can't get down. I can't get over that. I've watched that video, I would say, like half a dozen times. I love that guy. What do we have anything else on there?
I'm not sure.
That's it. I guess we're going to have to head into the fun half.
I guess in the free half, we should say that it seems like Schumer is saying that they're going to move if it... I just lost it.
Oh, they're going to go for unanimous consent in the Senate, which means that they're going to try and pass... Remember, Johnson's strategy, and I would assume this is also the White House's strategy, is to take the bill that's going to pass in the House and may have already passed by now, or certainly is about to, and send it to the Senate with the complaint that it doesn't protect the victims, Epstein's victims, even though they support this bill.
Yep.
And the idea was either that they won't take it up in the Senate, but it appears they definitely will, or that they would try and amend it in the Senate, pass a different bill, slightly different bill than the one in the House. Then the House ostensibly would have to pass it again. And it might give more time for delay. So everybody can say that they voted, who wants to, I voted for that bill in the House. When the Senate sent it back, it was not the same bill.
Right.
And the idea here is they're not going to convince anybody. The only thing that they think they can do in this situation is to make things murkier and cloudier and less clear. And so by attempting to pass this bill by unanimous consent, it puts less pressure on Republican senators. They don't have to say that they did or did not vote. They can basically choose whichever one they want after the fact. And it cannot get bogged down by an amendment. Now, remember, if they pass it in the House and they pass it in the Senate, it has to go to Donald Trump to be signed.
Yep.
And he still has another card to play, and that is that, what's her face?
Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi can come out and say, we just started an investigation into this, and we refuse to release. Then it goes to the courts. I mean, this is all going to be about delay.
Which is great for us in terms of creating a slow bleed out for Donald Trump.
I mean,
as
obviously,
long as more crumbs come out.
Not to, of course, but not to, I mean, even if they don't, not to belittle the victims, but the cover up being this elongated process in and of itself, even if we get no new information about Donald Trump, I don't know, feels like a real political loser for him and the Republicans.
There is a quality, and we'll talk about this in the fun half, because there's a new report out about Kevin Roberts, the head of the Heritage Foundation. And this is, an
atomic bomb.
It's an atomic bomb. But the sort of like, what is it? The cows are out of the barn.
Yeah.
On this. Like, whether there's more information or not more information, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and the this is all pulling apart at the conservative infrastructure. which is not to be mistaken for Democrats have their act together and know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But at least things are a little bit on similar footing. And remember, they really need unity, because that's the one thing that they always have had is a aligned incentive structure, because they don't got much else. Their policies don't help people. Their policies are cruel. Their policies are revanchist. They're retrograde. They are misogynist and racist. And so in general, like, it's very hard if if they're not on the same page for them to have success in society. But of course, also we're in cornered rat era.
Yep.
Folks, just a reminder, your support is what keeps this show alive and thriving. And if you want the show without commercials, it's holiday season. So the next 2 months, we got a lot of commercials. You can get rid of those commercials when you listen to it as a podcast afterwards, because we cut them out. And we're working on a members video feed too, which would also have certain
Cut out
features.
the commercials?
I think we might be able to
Ad-free.
do that. I think so. I think that would be ad-free. It certainly would be ad-free relative to YouTube on there. And but we're working on that. But it's your support that makes that possible. Also, justcoffee.coop, fair trade coffee, hot chocolate. Use the coupon code majority. Get 10% off. Folks, check out our Discord. Majority Discord. We got over 17,000 people in that Discord. It's an incredibly active Discord. Great community.
Right.
Also, the AM Quickie. You get 3 free emails a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from Whitney and Corey. They switch off. Whitney is like one of the premier writers at the American Prospect. Corey has written an amazing book, and I think he's working on a second one. Maybe I don't want to speak out of turn. But they give you all the stories you need to know from a decidedly progressive perspective. And for a couple of bucks more, you can get all 5 days a week, all month. So check that out. What is it? The amquickie.com. Matt, Left Reckoning and Jacobin.
Left Reckoning today after Majority Report over on the Left Reckoning YouTube feed. We have Daniel Bogus Law talking about these Epstein documents, particularly Larry Summers, and we get into Trump as well as his theories on the lack of evidence for a formalized blackmail operation, which I think might be interesting to folks. Formalized, I would emphasize. But yeah, check that out right after the show today.
I think I'm going to word search here because there's a nice IM about your show. Polly Marxist said, wanted to say I watched Matt's Jacobin show and have to say it was very well done and informative. I look forward to tuning in again this Friday. Congrats again, Matt.
Brendan James of Blowback is going to be on this Friday show, and Robin Wansley, the independent socialist in Minneapolis, is going to talk about how she's starting a caucus up in the Twin Cities for socialists. So, yeah, look out, Fry. You think you won now?
All right, folks. See you in the fun half.